All right, I am really excited for this one because I've been excited for this package to arrive. It feels like for years, but it's only been a few weeks. Obviously, you know what it is because you clicked on the video. So I am going to do a quick unboxing, and I'm literally unboxing it right at this moment in time, and just show you my first impressions of the Retroid Pocket 5. I was moderately excited about the Mini. The Mini is very cool. Don't get me wrong, but this is what I was looking forward to. So to each their own. I'm not saying that the Mini is a bad device by any means. I'm saying that my eyes are bad. So that's kind of what it is. Also, the super cool thing is that I bought a couple goodies with this device. The dock, and I'll definitely take a look at that. I may not be doing a whole lot of testing as far as, putting it together. Like I said, if you followed the channel before, I will be doing quite a few videos on this. So just bear with me because it is the holiday season, and it's a little crazy being a reviewer at the holiday season because all of your packages come in all at once. They don't just stagger. They don't. That's not how this works. Why would it? Why would it ever do that? Also, I have the case, and here we go. Now that I've used my not so trusty razor blade, don't open it with this. I'm a maniac. I'm an animal. Don't do that. Nobody needs to do that. You should be a little smarter than that. But that's all I had. So anyway, don't judge me. Or judge me.
I'm always judging you.
Thanks, Steve. All right, so here we go. Here is the reveal, the unboxing. So this is a typical Retroid package. For those of you that are seeing this for the first time, that you've never seen a Retroid package, it's a nice box. You got your little foam insert cat toy, and here is the device. You may be able to see what color scheme that I went with through the silicone. There's a little bit of a user manual. There's barely anything there. We have a USB-A to USB-C cable. I'm very excited about this. Ta-da! Wow. Christmas is only a few days away, but I feel like it came early. All right, so before we get into it, let's go over the specs. This device is running a Snapdragon 865 processor, and you can see all the different core speeds on the screen. The GPU is an Adreno 650. The RAM is 8 gigabytes of LPDDR4X RAM. It's running Android 13. The gorgeous screen is a 5.5-inch AMOLED screen at 1080p. There is active cooling, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.1, and a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So it's a pretty beefy device for a Retroid device. This is nice. This is so nice. This is so nice. Okay, sorry. Got a little excited. The device feels really nice. I will say that. It feels really nice in the hands. You can see that, of course, I have the GameCube color scheme because it's blue or purpley blue and it's fancy. And it was really the only one that kind of stood out to me. I typically don't go for the black. I will say I wanted the black just because the black would probably hide the any of the black bars that are on the sides for the 4:3 aspect ratio devices, but oh well, it'll be fine. Maybe I'll throw some, fun bezels in there. We have a gray joystick on the left and the GameCube yellow on the right. Both the joysticks are Hall effect sensor joysticks, which is awesome. We also have the normal Retroid buttons, and they look about the same size, which I'll show here in a minute, of the RP4 line and the Mini. So those are pretty typical. The shoulder buttons have like a little bit of a pushback. The triggers do, L2 and R2. Different, but I think that'll be nice. Up at the top, not a whole lot, but they actually changed the interface. They usually put a little bit more up there, but we have the volume button and there is the power button, and yeah, those are a little different. There is a very nice texture pattern that I will say about the shoulder buttons. All of the shoulder buttons have that. R1 and L1, they are more of a micro switch clicky, but not super crazy like the Anbernic 35XX SP. R2 and L2, the triggers, they go down pretty far. They're not floppy. They're kind of springy. They have a very intense spring on there, which I feel is good because Retroid is probably making sure that they don't have the whole debacle that they did last year with the shoulder buttons on the RP4 line. So that is good. On the front, you can see all the buttons. Start and select is up at the top, and home and back is down at the bottom. And also a very welcoming front-facing speakers are awesome. I love front-facing speakers. Up until the Mini, everything else had downward firing speakers with the exception of the 2S. So it'll be nice to actually hear, and I'm sure this is loud. On the back, there is a cool little pattern, and that is your vent. And there's the air intake, and yeah, that looks really nice. The ergonomics are nice. On the bumps down at the bottom, there is some textured plastic. It's a little bit more than what's on the shoulder buttons. And then you have the nice embossed logo right there. So that's nice. Now, the ergonomics are not nearly as big as the Odin 2, the Logitech G Cloud, any of the other ones that everybody has been talking about. Definitely not as good as the Steam Deck, but we're not really comparing the Steam Deck with this because it's a completely different operating system and size. For size comparison, here is the Retroid Pocket Mini. Okay, so size comparisons. Here we have the RP5 and the RP Mini. And the RP5 has a 5.5 inch screen. The RP Mini is 3.7. So sorry about the slant, but that's how my camera is set up. The Mini, as I talked about in my first impressions review, is more geared for 4x3 content, where the RP5 is 16:9 content. You can still play 4x3 content on the RP5, but you're going to get some black bars on it, which I've mentioned a little bit. So set up bezels, or we can just deal with it. So I'll show gameplay here in a second, but here we have the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, and I'll show you comparisons of this. So checking out all three together in the screen, and I know that this is a little diagonal and weird, but you can definitely see the differences between the device size and the screen size. And what's really funny to me is just to see the difference between the 5 and the RP4 Pro. The 4 Pro and the 4, if you aren't familiar with it, they are really identical. It's just the guts of this that are different. Everything that's internal. Yeah, I really like the newer styles, the Mini and the RP5. They just look more premium. They look really nice. There is a weird little notch that I noticed on the D-pad, but it's not doing anything. So the bottom two, the RP5 and the RP Mini, they have a glass front. They both have AMOLED screens, where the RP4 and everything before it is, it's the older style, and it's not as good. So it's just not as nice. It's not a bad device by any means, but it's just, I really like the RP5. Now that I have all of them together, it looks, it definitely looks a little bit better. It almost looks like an Ion device. They make the Odin device, but it has that premium factor to it, where the RP4 is just, I don't know, it looks more like a toy now. And here you can see there's no ergonomics on the RP4. That goes for the 4 and the 4 Pro. This is the 4 Pro. And the 5, you know, the ergonomics are not really substantial on the 5, but they definitely look like it when you compare it against the 4. For one, I really like the looks of both of the newer devices versus the old one. No, like I said, and I'll keep saying it, the old one is not bad. The 4s are not bad. They're still good devices. They can play up to, you know, GameCube and PS2 really decently, and even some higher systems than that. But you're gonna have to definitely use performance mode. So I'll show you here in gameplay. But here you can see size comparison up at the top. And yeah, they've made different modifications, and I like the new triggers. They definitely feel not as flimsy. And I mentioned there was a little debacle that the first batch of the RP4s that came out last year, they did have a tendency to have trigger wear. So hopefully we don't have anything like that on the 5s. Retroid did come out and say that they will send out backings for the 4s. So there was a whole thing about it last year. But yeah, I like the glass fronts, even though I think they're going to be a fingerprint magnet, but it looks nice. They look nice. Okay, so here is what the boot up screen will look like. If you've used a Retroid device before, this is going to look very, very similar. You just basically go through, hit next, select your language, and just follow the prompts from there. I will say that you definitely want to use Wi-Fi because this is an Android device, and you definitely, it's in your best interest to use the Google Play Store so you can download games, because there's a lot of cool Android games. And once you've gone through those prompts, then you're going to go to the pre-installed section after you sign into Google. Now, in the pre-installed apps section, there are a bunch of apps that you can install. If you don't know what you're doing, you may want to go ahead and just check these and install them already. I will preface this with most of these have a pro or paid version that has not been paid for. So that is the gray area, the little bit of shady area that encompasses Retroid sometimes. So do with what you will. If you wanted to just skip all of these and you know what you're doing, and just start from scratch and download RetroArch and then download all of these apps as you would, then that's probably a better idea. But again, whatever you need to do. For this video, just to make it super simple, before I, wipe it and actually set it up correctly for myself, I'm just going through and pre-installing some of these apps just to finish out the video. Now, once you have done all of that, then you get to the launcher section. I'm trying to speed through this because I don't want this to be a complete setup guide. But here you can see the top, you have the Retroid launcher, and the bottom is just your standard Google. It's almost like a tablet or a touchscreen because that's essentially what this is. It's an Android phone with controllers kind of encompassing the screen. So if you want, either way that you select these, you can access the ladder by just going through and finding the app or hitting exit in the Retroid launcher, which I'll show that. All right, so let's jump into the games. Now you can see that the 4x3 content is going to have black bars on the left and the right side of the 16:9 screen. But I will say that because of the size of the screen and the fact that it's AMOLED, I feel like really any game would look good on this screen. The screen just makes the colors pop and everything looks fantastic. You can see that the higher systems, the RP5, it doesn't break a sweat. I don't have this on performance mode or using any sort of enhancements or overclocks. Also, it's at the native resolution because I just wanted to see how the RP5 would handle all of these systems. Dreamcast, I ran through RetroArch. I know that's not the best solution, but it worked for the moment, and I just wanted to check out the Retroid launcher. PSP ran mostly smooth, just a couple hiccups when starting up games and caching them. When it came to GameCube, I was using MMJR, and everything ran smoothly. By default, I did have widescreen hacks turned on, but that was it. With PSP, I was using Ether SX2. In future videos, I will test out other emulators. I was really just going off of what I had on my RP4 Pro card, which was that emulator. I did play a few Switch games, and I was pretty impressed with the performance. The games that I chose weren't super heavy, but I have had issues with running them on different devices before. It's really nice to see the RP4. It's really nice to see that the Retroid Pocket 5 is holding its own. So, my final thoughts are this is definitely an upgrade from the previous models. The last 2 years, the design has become a little stale. It was cool when it came out, but, we needed a little bit of an upgrade. And the internals are definitely an upgrade too. I didn't think that they were going to be, but it seems like the reason I kept it on not churning it on any sort of high performance mode is just because I wanted to see what it was doing out of the box. And the fact that it runs PS2, GameCube, and even Switch really well. I mean, granted, I wasn't playing a lot of, big hitting games, but that's okay. I was playing a few games that I was already having issues with on different devices, or I would have to put it on performance mode, especially on the RP4 Pro. So yeah, I'm a little impressed. I am. As far as the ergonomics, I mean, yes, maybe I'm an ergonomics snob. I don't know. But, I like ergonomics. You may not, and that's fine. I do think that I think what they have going on here is kind of a decent compromise as far as there's a little bit of bumps on the back for people that, you know, need a little bit of that or want a little bit of that, but it's not super crazy, you know, hefty like a controller or the Steam Deck or, you know, even the Iron Odin, you know, other devices that have more hefty ergonomic grips. If you wanted something substantial as far as ergonomic grips, you could probably get a 3D printed case, a grip. I'm probably going to consider doing that just because that's me. Yeah, they're a little shallow, but I feel like it's good that they're there. Again, totally my opinion. So you might miss the fact that, you know, maybe you could pocket this device. I think this is a little big. The only tiny thing that baffles me is that they're still going with the Pocket name. Really don't think that this is pocketable. Cargo pants? I don't know. How much better is this going to be as far as, you know, against maybe like the Odin devices? I will have a few more videos that I said coming out. I'll definitely check out more gameplay, trying to push this device just a little bit more, putting in performance mode, you know, changing the resolution, things like that, and testing out a few games. So let me know in the comments below if you do want to see a specific game, and I will definitely try to throw that in one of my testing videos. The other thing that I will do is definitely try to test it out and compare it to maybe the Odin 2 Pro. I know that they're not really in the same ballpark because this is a $220 device versus that's like a $350 device. But really, I would say the questions are, you know, if you're really considering this, if you don't have something like this, this is pretty good. From what I've seen, I would say this is pretty good. You can definitely stick around for my other videos that I'll have soon. But I think this is good. I like what I'm seeing here. So there's a couple goofy things with it, but I'll get into that with my next video. It's just the way that everything's set up. And I think I'm just going to wipe the whole thing and just start from scratch and just have it my way. So you'll probably in the future video, you'll see a new front end on there because I wanted to test something other than Daijisho and move on from there. This video was supposed to come out probably, I'd say like several days ago, and a lot of stuff happened. The holiday happened. I even had some issues with my audio and my video, so that just sort of happened and whatever. But in the meantime, the positive of that is that I've had a chance to play with this just a little bit more extensively, just to see, you know, here and there what else it can do. And so far, I think I'm impressed. So, you know, I don't want to say that it's the greatest device in the world just yet because I haven't played with it that much. But yeah, would I recommend it over the RP4 line? That's really up to you. I would say yes, just because what you're getting for the price. I don't want to say that you need the latest and greatest, but if you're already going to be spending almost this much money on, say, the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, I don't think that it's going to be discounted enough that it would be really a few more bucks that you would have to spend to get this. I might definitely recommend it. Now, whether or not you should get it over the Mini, that's honestly a complete personal preference. Those are two completely different devices. If you want something that's really, really pocketable, probably the Mini. I mean, they're running almost identical as far as, you know, what's inside it. So it's really the form factor, and if you're going to be doing 4x3 content. Like I said, I'll have more videos, so definitely hit that subscribe button down at the bottom and turn your notifications on. Make sure that you hit all, but that way you can see my next videos that I come out with. Those are my thoughts, not yours. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome, everyone, and go play some games. Steve, what do you think? What do you think about the Retroid Pocket 5?
I think you're not going to get a chance to make any other videos, and I'm going to steal it from you. Oh, wait, did I say that out loud?
I knew I should have put coal in your stocking.
But I did get coal. Wait, what's that, you?
He's a right jolly old elf, that's Steve-O.